Haven't talked about Yakuza in a little while, but I saw this article yesterday and thought it would be a really good example of how things are never good enough and why you should never bend the knee. None of that stuff. Because when you do, this is what happens. Oh, well, you gave us a little bit there. How about a little bit more? Can we have a little bit more, please? Okay, you gave us a little bit more again. How about a little bit more now that you've done that? This is a really good example of that. So we have this opinion piece from Polygon. Yakuza examines masculinity with care but leaves women behind. Which I find funny because this game actually has a very nice female fan base. And a lot of that is because the director doesn't try to cater to them. And by doing that, it seems to have had an effect where they want to play the game. He just makes a good game and sells it, and people love it. People love it. And that's not good enough. Well, now that they're there, apparently you need to change it when they've never asked for any changes. It's kind of funny. They talk about it right here in the beginning of this article. When asked about his intended audience for the games, he responded simply that the games are stories about men, written by men, primarily for an audience of men. But he went on, because we tried to ignore both younger and female audiences, we inherently captured their interest in the contents of the game. Now, what I don't understand is what's wrong with that. This is what always has irritated me when it comes to stuff like this. What's wrong with wanting a male audience? It actually makes things easier to narrow down the audience that you're shooting for and making your product tailored for them. It makes things a lot easier instead of trying to do like a broad thing where you're trying to go after everybody. It usually never works. You need to just make a focus and make it good enough that you hope other people outside of that audience will like it. And that's exactly what's happened with these Yakuza games. They didn't go out of their way at all to appeal to women. And because of that, they managed to pick up a growing female audience. And now, because of that, and this is what's funny. This is serious. This whole and we're not going to read this whole article. It's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely look how long it is. It's all about whining about. It's all about whining about the fact that the game doesn't cater to women, which is funny to me because obviously women like the game, and there's an argument in here that the game needs to change now that that audience is there, even though they're not asking for it at all, which is really, really ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure that there was an interview where they talked to women and they didn't want the change. They didn't want the game to change, or I think the director talked about how he didn't want to change, or he had talked to women because, of course, these companies do market research. Would be stupid not to. Everybody does that. So I'm sure they've interviewed female gamers and asked them, do you want these changes? And I'm pretty sure that they've probably said no. They've probably said, no, we don't want these changes in the game. And okay, well, we'll just keep making the game that we want to make. And these people don't understand that, so they write these articles demanding change. There's probably a bunch of posts on Reset Era right now. That's what probably led to this opinion piece, saying that, oh, well, he examines toxic masculinity, which in some ways they do. I guess what you would say the actual term for it, which is saying like, okay, men can't shed tears. Men feeding babies or something, not seen as derogatory. I guess if you were going to say a truthful form of the toxic masculinity, that would probably be it, saying men can't get upset. I mean, sure, men can get upset. I guess if you're going to say if anything toxic, it's that. If anything is toxic, it's that men, can get shamed if they are to cry over something or whatever. But that's not where the definition of that ends with people that write articles like these. They see toxic masculinity as every masculine trait that a man has. Like, we need to almost, in a lot of ways, they want to see men feminized. I saw there's a whole thing going on, I think, like in Canada or something. They call it the brokini, It's literally dudes in a bikini, like one pieces, run around, like, except it only has one strap, not two. So you just have one on the side. It's ridiculous. It's like this weird thing that they want to make the dudes all act like women. And every type of like masculine trait that a man has is for some reason under like massive attack by the media. It's ridiculous. So there's a lot of praising for the fact that he'll get upset and stuff in this game, and that he treats women pretty good. But it doesn't stop there, of course, because that's not good enough. A game that's made for men, by the way, must empower more women. Look at this. Toxic masculinity is the real villain in the Yakuza series. Now, they go on to praise how it breaks down some of that stuff. Like, okay, when he had a tragic thing happen to him, he actually cried. Stuff like that. That, in a term, I guess, would, if you were going to really make a stand on something, saying that men aren't allowed to cry if something bad happens to them, that's kind of toxic. But, like I said, that's never where these things stop. It always stops at, oh, he likes to work in a wood shop. He works on cars or something like that. Like, and you've seen this time and time again. It's always ridiculous reasons. Like anything where a man just wants to be a man, do manly things. Like men get shamed for finding women attractive. Men get shamed for just talking about women. It's a very strange culture. But this game has been very successful by just ignoring their female audience in a lot of ways and just making the game like they've always wanted a game. If anything, this is a really good example of really good games selling. But it's also a good example of, okay, well, now that you have this audience, let's change everything up. And the game is ignoring its women. So the real I guess thesis here is that Yakuza is sexist because it ignores women and doesn't empower them, and you don't get to play as one. They're basically demanding a female-led Yakuza game. And I think, according to this, there was already one that got made. I've never heard of it. It's like Yakuza Like a Dragon. This game, I've never played that, so I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that game. But how do you know what the female audience of this game wants, Polygon? Because clearly they want the game that's already been made for them, and the director of this series has already been proven right that they just want the game as it is. It doesn't need to change. It's a growing audience for Yakuza is their female audience. It's a very growing audience, and they're having success by just making the game in the same formula that they've always made it. Why do they need to change it? Polygon knows best, huh? A bankrupt website whose parent company is losing money day after day. But Polygon knows best. They know the formula for success, so you should definitely listen to them. Anyway, that's it. I got nothing else. I just wanted to make fun of this stupid article because it's ridiculous. And just have some fun. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you'll throw a like up and a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you're a female Yakuza player, it'd be nice to hear from you. If you're a fan of the games, why are you a fan of them? Do they need to change? Tell me in the comments. Also, remember, share the video, throw a like up. Make sure you still subscribe. Subscribe if you're new, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out.